"You're a scumbag, Austin. I'm carrying your child, and you've been sleeping with this cheap slut for 6 months." Kate screamed this into the microphone so hard the veins in her neck bulged. 50 people, our parents, friends, colleagues, neighbors, stood frozen with their mouths open. The music cut out. We were standing on the terrace of our $850,000 home, and she had just turned my celebration into my execution. She theatrically threw a pack of printed photos at my feet, showing me entering a hotel with some woman. The crowd gasped. My mother covered her face with her hands. Kate sobbed uncontrollably, clutching her stomach. A genius performance. She knew I was planning a divorce and decided to strike first. Accuse me of cheating, play the victim, and sue for every last cent, including this house. She thought she had me cornered. She didn't know that in my pocket lay the remote for the 12-foot screen behind her. And she definitely didn't suspect that the sweet family video she had prepared for the finale had been replaced by a folder titled Brad and His Fee. I calmly finished my beer, stepped up to the podium, and snatched the microphone from her hand. Kate tried to flinch away, portraying terror. "Are you finished?" I asked. My voice, amplified by the speakers, sounded deathly calm. "Don't touch me," she shrieked. "I want a divorce." "You'll get it." I looked her straight in the eyes. "But first, let's show the guests why you're actually crying so hard." This story started exactly 7 days ago. I run a logistics company, trucks, warehouses, concrete numbers. I'm used to trusting facts, not emotions. Kate and I had been married for 3 years. She was obsessed with status and social media, but I thought it was just a feminine whim. We had been trying for a baby for 2 years. Or rather, she was pretending to. You see, here's the thing. At 22, after a sports injury, I had surgery. The doctors gave a verdict. I am sterile. Absolutely. 0 chances. I never told Kate at first. I was afraid of losing her, and then I waited for that moment. Well, the moment had arrived. Last Tuesday, I returned from a trip a day early. I walked into the kitchen, and Kate was sitting there with the face of someone who had just won the jackpot. She handed me a box. Inside was a pregnancy test. 2 lines. "Austin, we did it. I'm pregnant." She threw herself around my neck. I hugged her and felt something inside me die and immediately be reborn as an icy, calculating rage. Because I knew it wasn't my child, physically not mine. I didn't scream. I smiled and said, "Wow, Kate, it's a miracle." As soon as she went to shower, I went to work. I didn't hack her phone. I simply accessed our home's security system. We have smart home cameras that she constantly forgot about. Tuesday, 8 p.m. A black Audi pulls into the yard. A guy gets out Brad, her ex, the same loser she spoke of with contempt. He opens the door with his own key. His own. I watched the recording on fast forward. He left at 7 a.m., but not before pinning my wife down right in the hallway. Kate looked happier in those frames than she did at our wedding. In the morning, I called Miller, an ex-cop, who now handles delicate matters. "I need everything on Brad Walker," I said, "and get me the message history from my wife's tablet. It's synced to her cloud." By lunch, I had the full breakdown. It wasn't an affair, it was a business plan. "Kate, he's so stupid, Brad. He actually believed it and even teared up. Thinks it's his miracle baby." Brad, "Lol, what a sucker. Did you ask about the nursery renovation budget?" Kate, "Yeah, I'll squeeze another $20,000 out of him for the extension. It'll increase the house value for the split. I can't stand him. He always smells like diesel. I can't wait until we file for child support and take half his company." They were laughing at me. They were planning how they'd spend my money while I was grinding on the road. But then I found something even darker. Kate hadn't just been cheating. She had been planting evidence for weeks. I found a small voice recorder taped under my desk and a prop lipstick planted in my glove box. She wasn't just planning a divorce. She was planning to destroy my reputation so I'd lose my logistics contracts. She had even contacted my biggest client, hinting that I was unstable and unreliable due to my supposed drinking and gambling habits she made up from thin air. What she didn't realize was that I owned the building where she met her lawyer. I pulled the lobby footage and saw her handing over a flash drive to a man I recognized as a rival logistics owner. She wasn't just selling our marriage. She was selling my trade secrets to my biggest competitor to ensure I'd be bankrupt by the time the divorce hit. She wanted to leave me with nothing but the clothes on my back. I suggested throwing a gender reveal party. "Let's invite everyone," I told her over dinner. "Even Brad. I heard he's back in town. We're adults, let's show there are no hard feelings." She swallowed the bait. She thought she was so smart she could keep both a husband wallet and a lover in the same room. But a day before the party, she got nervous. Apparently her conscience, or fear, made her look for a catch. She found a receipt from a jeweler in my glove box. I had bought a diamond bracelet for my mother's anniversary. $3,500. Kate decided it was for a mistress. She didn't ask. She decided to use it as a smokescreen. She even went as far as to buy a matching cheap knockoff and throw it in our trash, hoping I'd find it and get defensive. She even paid a girl from the local bar $50 to send me a suggestive text, right when she knew I was looking at my phone, just to create digital evidence. And here we are again on the terrace. Kate had just accused me of cheating in front of the town's elite. "You found a receipt, Kate," I yelled into the mic. "And you decided the best way to hide your betrayal was to attack first. Did you think I would make excuses? Did you think those fake photos of me at the hotel taken by your cousin, by the way, would actually hold up? Did you think I wouldn't notice you trying to sell my company's route maps to Miller's rivals?" I pressed a button on the remote. The screen behind her flared to life. First slide, a medical report from a fertility clinic. In bold letters, sterility, chance of conception, 0. The crowd went silent so fast, it was as if someone had switched off the world's audio. Kate turned around, her mouth hanging open. "What is this crap?" she whispered. "It's the truth, honey. I've been infertile for 7 years. So this baby is either from the Holy Spirit or—" I pressed the button again. A video started playing on the screen. That same black Audi. Brad entering the house. Kate meeting him in her underwear. The living room camera caught everything. But then the video shifted. It showed Kate and Brad in my office, laughing as they went through my tax files and copied my client list. "Once we leak these to the competition," Brad whispered on the tape, "his contracts will dry up in a week. We'll be living in Florida by summer." The details were so vivid that guests started turning away, and her father, Tom, turned the color of a beet. "That was Tuesday," I narrated, "while I was on the road, earning money for that very extension you were discussing with your boyfriend. And while you were trying to steal my business life's work. You even tried to pay off my night manager to sign a fake affidavit about me drinking on the job. Too bad he's been my best friend since kindergarten." Next slide. The messages. Huge letters across the screen. "He's so stupid. I'll squeeze everything out of him." I found Brad in the crowd. He was standing by the buffet trying to hide behind a glass of whiskey. "Hey, Brad," I shouted. "Why are you hiding? Come to mommy. Congratulations, you're going to be a dad. Just a heads up, you've got $40,000 in debt, and Kate is used to lobsters. Hope you find a second job, because you won't get a cent from me. And by the way, the police are interested in that industrial espionage attempt you two discussed." Kate lunged at me, trying to knock the mic out of my hand. She looked insane. "You scumbag! You set this all up!" she screamed. "Me? You're the one who gathered all these people here. You took the mic. You wanted a show. You got it." I brought up the final document on the screen, an eviction notice and a copy of the prenuptial agreement. Clause 4, B, in the event of proven infidelity by a spouse, she loses the right to any payments and property acquired before the marriage. The house is mine, Kate. The car is mine. You have exactly 60 minutes to pack your stuff into trash bags and vanish. I dropped the mic on the floor. The thud was the only thing breaking the silence. I turned around and walked into the house. Through the office window, I watched hell break out. The father-in-law, Tom, slapped Brad so hard he flew into the rose bushes. Kate's mother just sat on the lawn and burst into tears. Kate burst into the house 10 minutes later. She was destroying everything in her path. She broke a $2,000 vase and tore down the curtains. I just sat in my chair and watched her through the monitor screen. "You'll die alone!" she yelled, pounding on the office door. I didn't answer. I called a taxi in her name and sent a message to her father. "Pick her up, or I'm calling the cops for property damage." An hour later, it was all over. Silence. The divorce went like clockwork. My lawyer simply showed the recordings and the tests. The judge didn't even listen to her babbling about hormones and a mistake. Kate was left with what she came with, a couple of suitcases of clothes and credit card debt. Brad, as befits a true alpha male, evaporated 3 days after the party. As soon as he realized there would be no money, but there would be a baby and lawsuits, he blocked Kate everywhere and left the state. He didn't even wait for her to call him about the espionage evidence I handed over to the authorities. 6 months have passed. Kate lives in her parents' basement. She works as a receptionist at a cheap gym. She gave birth to a boy. Brad refuses to recognize paternity. She sued, but that case will drag on for years. Her parents barely speak to her, and most of our old friends have blocked her. She tried to sue me for emotional distress, but the judge laughed her out of court when I produced the audio of her and Brad laughing about how they'd ruined me. I sold that house. Too much content of my ex remained there. I made a clean $300,000 on the deal. I bought myself a cozy apartment downtown and a new SUV. My business actually grew. Once my clients found out she'd tried to sabotage me, they signed 3-year extensions out of loyalty. I recently ran into her father at the hardware store. Tom came up to me, looked away, and said, "Austin, she regrets it, cries every day, says you were the best thing that ever happened to her." "Tell her, Tom, that I don't regret it either," I replied. The gender reveal was perfect. We found out she's having a boy, and we found out my wife is a snake. 2 reveals for the price of 1. I got into my car and went on a date with a girl who doesn't use Instagram and whom I honestly told about my surgery on the very first date. She just smiled and said, "That means we'll travel and spend money on ourselves. Life is a logical thing if you know when to press the play button."